Hi, I'm Joe Bailey, and I want to talk a little bit about multi-attribute utility analysis. It's a quality tool that we use often within the Quest program to help identify places where we could take different options and we're trying to figure out what the best option is. So thinking about the name multi-attribute utility analysis, we can think about the attributes of a particular decision that we have to make or potential different options that we have, and just recognize that there are multiple attributes. And we're trying to go ahead and figure out what the right course of action is depending upon all these different attributes that give us utility, basically give us some value. So while I'm going to go ahead and present this in a two-dimensional setting, one has to recognize that this could actually be understood in more than just 2 dimensions, as many dimensions as possible, to take a look at whatever defines utility. So I'm going to go ahead and describe kind of 2 general attributes which are used with technical decisions that have to be made. And one of them is cost. And what I'm going to do here on the x-axis is I'm going to take a look at cost of different options. And I'm going to want to go ahead and define this so that the origin, right, closer to the 0 point, is actually preferable. And that means that if this is the best, this has to be the cheapest. And over here on the right would be the most expensive. So I'll do cost on the x-axis. And then I'll take a look at, let's say, performance. One could think about this, let's say, as the car performance. So how many miles per gallon might be one of those attributes. Well, clearly we want to get more miles per gallon instead of fewer miles per gallon. So what I'm actually going to do is take the reciprocal, 1 over MPG, 1 over miles per gallon, or really it could be 1 over any type of performance measure. And then I can go ahead and think about all the cars that were available for me that might have low miles per gallon and maybe some cost options. So I might have some cars that cost a lot but actually do very well with miles per gallon. This might be like the Chevy Volt, which is completely electric. And then I might have some options that aren't quite as fuel efficient but maybe cost a little bit less, like the Toyota Prius. And then I can plot all the different options I can have with cars and identify where they are on this scatter plot of cost and 1 over performance. What that then allows me to do is create what's called the Pareto Optimal Frontier. Basically, it's an envelope of all the options that are going to be on the Pareto frontier. In other words, they're the ones, when you take a look at this from the origin, they're going to be closest to the origin and basically not be dominated by another point. For example, if I take this point here and I think about its performance and cost, okay, this point A is not as good as this point B because B has better performance and lower cost. And this is really nice when I have lots of options that are available to me and I'm trying to eliminate them. In general, any of these interior points that are not along the Pareto frontier, or what are sometimes called Pareto optimal solutions, are not going to be considered. These points, like A, would be Pareto inferior. And we can eliminate the inferior solutions from our considerations. That this is very important to us when we have lots of options that are potentially available, but we don't necessarily make any determination about how we're going to trade off, let's say, the cost and 1 over performance. That could be used better in a cost-benefit analysis. Now remember, this demonstration here is just for 2 dimensions, 1 over performance and cost, which are 2 very logical dimensions. But one could also imagine, even if I'm looking at fuel-efficient vehicles, that I might also want to consider, let's say, how reliable the car is, or other dimensions of quality. I might want to consider, let's say, how fast the car accelerates, or how much capacity it has for luggage. All of those are going to add additional dimensions to this analysis, but the principles of the analysis can still be looked upon. And the idea is to look at what is the Pareto frontier on our multi-attribute utility analysis, and how we can eliminate the Pareto inferior solutions. So for multi-attribute utility analysis, I'm Joe Bailey. Thanks very much.